Hello. I'm trying to talk about something very simple. Whereas I had a good childhood. I liked my grammar school. There were moments though where they were interbranch, recorded and confessed, juxtaposed criminal foreign influences and homeland ones interbranch with each age of fact nature. Excuse me. Recorded and confessed tied to worse than the child sex offender principal just sentenced. Reported sentence by WFSB the same day. They had ad companies recorded and confessed with child abuses. Clicks with sex offenders already proven and tied to this, and to worse with the campuses, intercampus through time. Now there are people from my town and intercity who confessed before I even met them. The judges involved with crimes with kids and with criminal justice cliques with kids, with Covington Street, and with all the apartments around CCSU, with space, with on-off campuses relationships. They also recorded and confessed that, these interbranch. This is also recorded and confessed worse than interstate, but maintained criminally foreign influence through, like, New York and connected CCSU. Also a Kush, connected as a recorded Oz victim predator used by criminal evidence reception bodies, intercity with Hartford, New Britain. CCSU on-off campus. He doesn't understand though. All Connecticut boxing, they're using people's mouths to cover their own maintained roles as victim predators originally, and still per the method that built what needs voice required to demonstrate each branch's collusion with as areas crime, methods and acts, and natures and problems, roles. And that requires us starting with what we understand together first, which are areas connections to the branches. See, but we're not being let this because the branches are covering up. They're using the right to lie criminally, but so systemically, because that's every modern nation is being raised as victim predators, not thinking, and having liars maintain physical delusions and premises mistreatments, areas maintain criminal influence sciences, then branches. Campus Marcy is criminally re-engineered. So what I'm trying to talk about is very simple things. Quick moments, and people I don't even know the names of. You know how you go to school, you're learning, you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? And but this is also recorded and confessed tied to doctors with crimes. WFSB, they also told them to pretend I had relationships to doctors in the past that never were, because there were database illusion stacking. They told that with an as worse recorded child sex offenders with the Lethe family, women in their family, they recorded and confessed involved criminally. I never even had a conversation with them. I only the adult one, since I was a kid, recorded and confessed involved by a whole bunch of people. And then him recorded and confessed involved with sexual advances on me. And then I had nothing to do with him. And then they forged the doctors' names, attached me to fake conversations with them, attached me to fake conversations about federal cases with federal criminals who were co-defendants of the former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin. Federal criminals that had daughter in my grade, that had confessed and recorded by their friends drug crime rolls with them, evidence crime rolls, that spread slanders of me. Those people raised to interbranch actors with interstate, Rhode Island, New York type, Boston type Fred Guzet, police chief's son. Only context I know him in. Tied to MP family, and they said, what's his name? I never had a conversation with him because it's hard to try to ask someone you don't know in the future. See, they have people like a Joshua Julian recorded and confessed with the police chief and with interbranch families and with doctor families, foreign domestic, with drug crime rolls, writing lies about people in databases too long, and with crimes and methods and cases and acts and cases too long, rolls with that. So they need to cover lie progressions. So they've been making for decades, making Facebook pages, fake Facebook pages, pretending to be me, fake YouTube pages, pretending to be me, forcing me to ignore rape threats right online, sequence chefs and fabrications in courts tied to it, them telling lies online to cover their lie progressions because they stacked multiple admitted and recorded fake police reports to prevent me from reporting crime acts like the rape threats, abuses of each age of fact-cheating nature. Joshua Julian recorded and confessed involved with medical crimes, with abuse of my father, recorded and confessed tied to people associated with the Lethe family before he died. I don't know, they might have killed him. And that's not paranoia. That's because that's what's recorded, communicated. See, but they're attaching me to fake conversations, forging names. Because Brendan, there's also a Dr. Aziz recorded and confessed with crimes with a Judge Killian after having crimes with other judges with that court. And with a triage place where they bring someone in for mental evaluation. Because they recorded using that to prevent crime acts and crime methods using kids with child sex offender cliques and with drug cliques with the police and with the courts, with evidence reception bodies through time. Tim O'Brien and his family also recorded and confessed, verbally and non-verbally, involved with by others and non-verbally by themselves, recorded and confessed, involved with crimes with both sides of in other words, with a Rick Sanfayon family and with families in my area, with the child sex offenders, and with crimes with evidence reception bodies, as victims, but as victim predators, using also recorded and confessed, involved with crimes with a Gold family. By them, a number of people associated with some sex offenders brought him up, and with some male crimes and some violence in Wethersfield tied to Joella, who also non-verbally demonstrated it was tied to him. If that was the person or not, because it's all on a person. Because they're making fake Facebook pages pretending to be me. I don't know if they're pretending to be these other people too, but those are people I only know from context where they sought me out to make confessions about their crimes, recorded, crime rolls recorded with courts, with prison cliques intercity, with criminal justice cliques intercity tied to Johnny Duke, Clay Bay. People with UPS, pretending they're giving people jobs. They're all evidences, names for interbranch, various natures of the same court and other natures of court, with sick doctors, with drug crime rolls, with the overt gangs, in collusion with areas illusions, specifically recorded crime needs to tell the same finite body of value and progressive life, in conjunction with the roles with the NAS actors that attach me to fake Trade Center attack context, fake conversations about cases tied to the federal criminals tied to them with crimes in the past, not charged but recorded in various ways, and charged too. And then people, their sex offender cliques, interbranch criminal justice tied, foreign tied, even and especially if that was his fake undercover too, because it was recorded and confessed that it's involved with undercovers associated with the Dillon family through time, which I never had. He non-verbally confirmed that he's involved with the previous and the new neighbors' confessions rolls with the crimes with the people that keep confessing federal crimes like ties to body dumping spots, crimes with drugs with kids, with police in Rocky Hill, Wethersfield, with election crime rolls, with crimes with the town offices, with the fire departments. See, they're covering live progressions, so they're not letting crime acts reported. So they have recorded and confessed. They're using Joshua Julian for crimes with a family, extended and immediate of a police chief with a foreign cliques, like with he has an extended Italian family associated with like overt drug crimes in the past, and doctors involved with drug crimes and with other various natures of medical crimes, intercampus crimes, database illusion stacking crimes, with triages, and with various natures of the same court, other courts covering up their life progressions by using together, and you know, they have drug crime rolls through the people that are only there to help people who need help for that. And they're they're forging names. They're with crime rolls with juries too. Dr. Zeman also recorded and confessed. He went out of his way. I told him I didn't want to have a conversation with him. He's recorded and confessed involved with crimes with the people recorded involved with the confessed involved with the one of the sex offenders that used to be a police dispatcher's wife. His brother is a manager of Stop and Shop, involved with Mike Levine, recorded and confessed involved by the police forums in the court. Sex predators, with rape threats and stuff like that, and with Mike Pandoff also recorded and confessed that he had database evidence crime rolls with interbranch foreign and domestic illusion stacking with crimes with the campuses, and that he implied was tied to his roles with probate court judges' families and stuff like that, with sheriff's family, like a Delaferro family, and Joshua Schumack, who I only know barely, sought me out to confess things about this, new things about me, recorded various ways, and others were recorded and confessed involved with him with the drug crime rolls, with a Joe guy, and a whole bunch of, there was a bunch of kids named Joe, but it was an adult guy with the drug dealing, who was a friend of Mike Violet, and that's recorded and confessed involved with all kinds of people tied to Two Route Highway, into roads off of that, recorded and confessed involved, all kinds of bad ways. I think there was a murder on one of those streets too, because that's also recorded and confessed tied to body dumping spots and crazy things like that. In a house with had people in hostage, but they lived in another house before they lived on the street with the rest of the worst people with on and off campuses with the principal sex offender. Now, Tim O'Brien is also recorded and confessed with others, with his family, and with other families in the area, like Ian St. John says he's with the FBI. A bunch of people recorded and confessed involved with crimes with him with this group too. A schedule too, a rod schedule. I never had a conversation with him. He demonstrated they had like also probate court recorded and confessed tied corruption with the extended family member of one that says they were part of that. Delafair family said they were directed to theater and drug crime rolls and gambling crime rolls with kids, evidence perception crime rolls, violence crime rolls with kids, larceny crime rolls. These are people with criminal justice putting kids in prisons, putting kids in programs, with doctors very sick, women too. See, the women are behind the sick investigators that are confessed. They just do what their chief tells them. They confessed the other day that the police chief has been behind the recorded years of online crimes, identity crimes, with Wethersfield police also recorded and confessed involved with other city strangers, confessions and stuff like that. In other words, CCSU recorded and confessed involved with all kinds of people that got pulled into those live progressions by on and off campus investigators. So then they have experience where experience is into a subject or whatever like that, but it's not about real life. They're leaning on investigators on and off campus, seeding people to live progression, cover up needs and natures, and they're seeding illusions into databases consciously. This is recorded, and they're doing it in collusion. The campuses in the courts, in the prison cliques, and doctors with this, with various crimes tied to a method using networks. Like they have a Peruta family and which is a Russian family, and other Russian families recorded and confessed, and Ukrainian families recorded and confessed. You know, so this is what they do. They just make statements, and then you don't even know those people's names. But then you have to, if you want to talk about, it's about both corners of Highcrest School. Also, a woman with red hair and her daughter with a soccer ball recorded and confessed harassing me when I was jogging. Recorded and confessed with crimes with courts harassing me and kids with sexual crime threats and slanders of their family members and me. The Wethersfield police chief's daughter is also recorded and confessed with his and immediate and extended family crimes with Facebook and with drug crimes with the kids, with doctors and with overt drugs, and with this Joshua Julian with the sex offenders clique, and tied to the recently reported sex offender principal just sentenced, recorded and confessed, tied to worst child predators with that same campus, and crime acts recorded, tied to the Facebook page of New Britain Superior Court, also used to spread rumors with the rape threat cliques, with people that use the name Joey Quest and Scalora, recorded and confessed involved with CCSU database illusion stacking on off campuses crimes with investigators, reception bodies, with tied to child sex offender cliques, foreign and domestic, with drug doctor cliques, with the police and families involved with my police chief's corruption, recorded and confessed by a number of his agents. And there's another what it was, the two Detective Mendez recorded and confessed directed to evidence reception crime roles and slanders of me, and to hide the roles recorded and confessed involved with my project on the KKK themed confessions tied to the probate judge's family and drug dealers. That one that didn't go to my school, on each side of the drug clique with each side of the Wethersfield High School was this connected to the drug clique, connected to the crimes with both ends of the street, the corner of the grammar school, which is in the middle of that street, or it was that, whatever, at the end of it, right there at that corner, at the end of it, and was recorded and confessed involved with crimes with of various natures, tied to what's his name, O'Brien family, with interbranch and foreign and domestic and medical corruption and overt drug crimes and stuff like that, cliques, which was only part of it communicated there, confessed there, demonstrated there. They, with little stupid kid things, so you forget about it. But then, like Debbie Gold, I never had anything to do with her. Brief moments, so I knew this was connected. Because then they connected years later in 6th grade too, where people made confessions to me about. People were directed to come to my classroom and make confessions about Alina's Pizza on Park Street. And what's his name? Lance Cuddy, who I never had one conversation with in my life, recorded and confessed involved with crimes with evidence reception natures of all various natures tied to Alina's Pizza. And with crimes and cases tied to that. These are like all the various natures of bad things. And the reason they brought it up because they pretend to make it's personal. They brought me. They pretended they were someone else to bring me and my wife into their context by pretending they through the neighbors that were confessed and recorded, coerced to witness crime rolls with foreign and domestic police, with fire department ones, and with, drug clicks from hospitals, and police were associated with that. Detective Samuda recorded and confessed, involved with. I never had a conversation. He walked up to us and made confessions about a whole bunch of things real fast and then walked away. He was also sitting there looking crazy eyes at us, like as if to imply we did something wrong for going in to make a complaint about sex crime acts, verbal, recorded, online, and tied to my area. See, because these people have been involved with crime acts every campus I went at because they were exploiting their roles with overt criminal enterprises known and further recorded, juxtaposed with our nation sharing policing of stores, like a Kerr family and a DeMorrow family recorded and confessed involved with crimes with courts since they were kids, with the same courts now involved with child sex offenders used to cover their life progressions tied to that, used with recorded force, ignored, sustained rape threats and positions of undercovers in family, like a Heather Hansen recorded and confessed criminal roles with my parents' real estate business involving her family and her roles with sex offenders proven and further recorded with kids through time. That's a person I only know briefly and from a middle school class recorded and confessed with Mr. Neville, recorded and confessed involved all kinds of natures of crimes with this as a tool through other people. I never had a conversation with him personally. He stole my paper too. My poem I made was a good poem too. I don't know what he did with it. I just know he gave everyone's back except for mine. I never had a personal conversation with him personally, purposefully, because in other words, I never asked him about that because he was associated with what was already. I didn't understand that, but it was I just went to class. You go to class, you don't realize these things. But then these people were tied to narratives, like Rick Shanfino confessed and recorded. He was directed by his influences associated with a Lethe family and other criminal foreign influences. They were directed to pretend illusions. And he said he confessed and recorded crimes with a Phil Claw, a Phil Fred Grisette. That's the person I recorded. See, then they had, after they graduated, they had him confess this to me because they had put him, pretended I knew them when they were growing in high school. I only knew him from I had nothing to do with them the whole time they were in high school. You know what I'm saying? And they made me stay back the last year, recorded and confessed tied to crimes with a Cuddy family and with their neighbors. Recorded and confessed with crimes with the sex offenders cliques in my area and on my street, and with these 3 houses more than 3 houses connected. Also, a Bernstein family also recorded and confessed involved with the crimes with the CCSU, crime methods with CCSU. So there's also a Cush, but he's a victim that they recorded and confessed as a victim of misinformation. If he was his investigator, but he's associated with criminal justice cliques on and off CCSU, associated with the sex predators, all kind of predators, each age effect, cheaping nature, with my town, intercity, through time connected. So they're not letting me report things because they're trying to do, this is I still don't know what happened with my father's death. You see what I'm saying? We have this Lethe family attached to the others. They're sequence shift. They're doing online too. They had the courts criminally involved tell WFSB and other people to sequence shift for them all kinds of ways, to pretend that I'm bringing up the past with people I had nothing to do with. The only exception, like with a Christine Tardet Bedard, that was one of the people tied to the proven sex offenders that I was trying to tell on, like the John Maiano. Then he brought his brother into it, John Maiano too. I never hung around with Ray Colo, John Maiano, Paul when they were in high school. After they graduated, they put illusions with that guy. Whatever. So, we'll see. So they have these people on Facebook. They have interbranch rape threats, message and post, ERICKNER, and a DAVE, Dave Kner, KNER, and 2 Jerry Kerrs, a Mike Kerr and their mother, and all kinds of insurance police and foreign domestic police, military families recorded and confessed. Standing evidence fabrication natures. Standing predators, again, with and as sex offender ties, indifferent to that, exploiting that through time. Rob Schedule, I never had a conversation with him in his life. His sister walked up to me one time and recorded and confessed, involved. She was directed to do that because they're associated with evidence fabrication natures. Evidence perception natures associated with child predators, sex offenders, drug cliques and stuff like that, associated with military various ways, and that's with the house tied with the probate judges and with the medical drug cliques that are also doctors with crimes. Also recorded and confessed involved with CVS, with other policing of the stores, involved with the immediate and the extended family of the police chief, associated with the sex offenders in my area, and with their narratives, with those people used for witness fabrication roles where they don't even know me, because they're listening to like a. Also, when I was a kid, recorded and confessed before I ever went to work there, Eric Jensen, Joe DeMauro, and Ray Colella, they also recorded and confessed things connected to the confessions and the crime roles of the O'Brien family as victims, as predator acts with evidence reception bodies, making loaded statements and stuff like that, confessions about roles with federal criminals that were associated with them. That was also tied to through a bunch of times people kept confessing about and recording criminal involvements of Justin Klavinskas. I never saw it out in my life. They filmed illusions where how once in a while they would direct them to make more confessions about what I was trying to figure out, because this is also tied to class placements where they know where you're going to be. They're exploiting the progression nature. They're exploiting class placements and talking lies. They're building lie progression cover-up natures. They're building sensibilities in relationship to directed to pretended to believe interbranch criminally foreign influenced states and areas leaders in collusion with other nations. Sick overt criminal enterprises unrealized juxtaposed, especially with mental health care tied to everything. Sick. They're sick. They're recorded sick. I'm not a doctor. They're recorded with physical delusions, crime methods, database illusion stacking methods, behavior crime methods, that with the interpretation of behavior in association with and as a crime method to pretend they don't realize, roles with the actually recorded database illusion stacking method behind what's not letting mandated sex crime acts reported, what's forcing them, they're pretending people are delusional when they're the ones delusional with the sequence shifts in the sex crime act. They have WFSB fake both sides of stories before even talking to me and my family. They charge people so they could just go, because if you talk to them, they're going to hurt you one way, because this is with recorded various natures of police with threats, verbal and non. Verbal in the form of crime acts proven and further recorded, tied to the sequence shifts in the Ninth Circuit, in the Trade Center context, with federal criminals, also who were co-defendants of a former director of the FBI in a part of a case in 2006 that came as a result of having proved sequence shift from inside the Ninth Circuit to appear late the day before the panel of judges, the day the Trade Center attack. And they hid that since. Lie progressions with predicate acts like attaching immediate fake Trade Center attack context. Categorically, telling lies. Tied to lies they told and physical delusions recorded they have in depositions with other recorded and confessed criminal exploitations of the position of the numerous positions with Wethersfield that the FBI has, with other agencies and their family members also recorded degenerates in the way of me making a police report. So they're not going to hide behind the name of their confession of the police chief's involvement, because it's more than that. Also recorded interbranch police, recorded and confessed, and their family members. Josh Schumach's mother also recorded and confessed involved with her sons and his friends' roles with drug crimes with the sex offender cliques, lying to women, spreading rumors to make themselves look like they're not, are what they're not. They're bad people. Especially because he's a sheriff, that should be pointed out. Has to be pointed out. So we have these people online doing this. Waste my time. If I had I bet he'd waste my YouTube. I would have maybe a chance on there. You never know now. See, they break any kind of industry you try to go into. They force their live progression cover-up needs from what is their recorded needs and motives actual for the sex crimes, which is women with it. They're obviously their motivations aren't sex. Facilitating the men investigators who are recorded ill originally and still. These are doctor women recorded with crime acts pretending people are narcissistic as a method to pretend they had a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Pretend that there was even conflict briefly. You know what I'm saying? Total fake conversations, forging names. They're using triages to hide their roles with what is the recorded sex crime problem. And elderly, the same cliques recorded and confessed involved with crime methods and acts and uses of the elderly like this. So when they do the treatments of the issues, they're doing it, trained to do how to do it through campuses originally and still criminally foreign influence. areas and states in collusion with other suits and intimidations, counters that are not means, because they're tactically denatured relationships with nature, blaming on others, as used as tools. For what is inter-nation fools, each modern nation tools. Not the way. This can't evolve. One way will solve. So, oh God, what? Give me the response. See Renaissance. Take those people out of the court. Christine Dardet, she's a psycho. Sequence shifting, pretending I'm bringing up the past. She wasn't even in my grammar school, I don't think. I don't even know. I had nothing to do with her. She was in a